Right, I'm here with Richard Briggs, the CEO of Hamilton City Council, in his office with wind whistling past, of all things. I didn't realise it whistled so much up here. But anyway.
Hey Lance, how are you?
Now, this year we've got an election. I've been interviewing the candidates. I've still got more to go. But what I wanted from you is to explain to people the importance of voting in general, but more importantly, how big an importance that is for Hamilton at the moment, because we're right in a situation where Hamilton's hitting a growth situation where we're now a seriously decent-sized city. We're not a little country dairy town anymore.
That's right. So firstly, I want to explain my role.
Yep.
Right. So the legislation requires me to increase voter turnout, look for every opportunity to do so. The legislation requires me to provide an opportunity and encourage debate in the community. I'm supposed to put forward the issues as I see them affecting the city, independent of elected members, which is a good process, and that's what's required me to deliver on the pre-election report. So
yes, it makes an interesting read, that.
It does make an interesting read. So that's a really critical part to it. And so the reason why the legislation requires me to, and why I think it's important to increase the voter turnout, is that it's a real opportunity for the people of Hamilton to have a say in the services they receive and the ambitions that we pursue.
Yeah.
And I say that very clearly, ambitions, because we are a town that's growing. I think you and I have spoken a number of times about the growth pressures in the city. 40 people per month coming into the city on buses type stuff is what the example is, which is a busload of people. We are growing, and we've sort of got our finances in check. We're now stabilised. The pressures of growth are going to get even more, and it's now an opportunity time to work out to what extent we want to optimise that growth. Where do we want it to go? What do we want to invest? How hard do we turn the dial in terms of we charging development contributions versus rates? Do we build just pipes? Do we build playgrounds? It's all that sort of stuff, and the community is critical in understanding what's going on, and by doing so, the elected members hopefully be more informed about what they need to do. So that connection with the community and the potential candidates is no stronger than this point in time.
Okay, yeah, because effectively we vote councillors in, they make the overall decisions on the whole as to certain things, but you've got to give them accurate information about the situation. You've also got to, or you and your staff have also got to give them information on what can legally be done and what can't be done and things like that as well, so that when they sit in a meeting and vote on what's going to happen, they've got all the information in front of them, because you've got a whole lineup of experts behind you on all sorts of things, from drinking water supply to stormwater maintenance to drainage, all these sorts of things. You've got all those people standing behind you, giving you information that the councillors use in deciding the direction of Hamilton effectively. And we decide which councillors are going to be sitting there voting on those issues.
Yeah, so it's a true representative democracy. The community votes the councillors in. The councillors, before the councillors, of course, the candidates will go out and they'll talk to the community about the issues they're confronted with, how they're going to solve them. My opportunity I've got to provide is the platform for them to express those views to a degree. So the pre-election report does that. When they're elected, we are required to provide information, but significant decisions also require us to re-engage with the community as well. Yeah. So you'll see this consultation and engagement throughout the 3-year term on various topics, 10-year plan, annual plan, but also policies, bylaws, and significant decisions require the community to be re-engaged with. It's a changing time though, Lance. I believe the community is more informed than they've ever been. Technology's made it easier for people to research things, and more people expect to have a greater say in what happens in their city. And I think, regardless who gets elected, I think the community will be more vocal about their expectation of where the city's going.
Yeah.
So if you want to have the most direct say, vote, and vote well is the key message to the community. If you're out there watching this, your vote does make a difference. If you look back to last election, Andrew King was the mayor by 6 votes. So 6 people would have made the difference, and we would have had a different mayor. So your vote does count. and it's important that you're well informed. So the key thing out there is research, read the pre-election report, look on our website, talk to your friends and your families, talk to the candidates, and get out there and vote, because it will make a difference and it sets our platform going forward. But if you vote, make sure you stay engaged with what's going on, because there will be opportunities to have further say through consultation rounds throughout the 3-year period.
Yeah. Now, are there any issues as CEO of the council that you see people should think hard about when someone's telling them what they're going to do? Like, we've got the Three Waters is going to be a big one, I know, because of the infill housing that we're going to begin. So that's going to be a big one.
Yep.
And I think when people are making decisions on what councillors or candidates say they're going to do when they get elected, I think people need to be fully aware of the importance of key issues that are going to impact Hamilton.
Yeah, so I mentioned before, the local government actually requires me to put out the issues that affect the city, and to do that independent of elected members. I'm required to put out that message. I'm required to encourage debate.
Yeah.
So this is great. Thank you, Lance. Another venue to get it out there and put it out to the community. Debate amongst yourselves, debate with candidates, get your views straight, go off and vote. But what I've done, and legislation requires this, is the pre-election report again. We've got some challenges, and so we've got our identity challenge. So that's about, we're growing, we're no longer a cow town. What are we? What does it look like? And the elected members have a great say in delivering on that. Together they should reflect the community where we want to go, vote for them, and we'll see how that comes through in the election.
Yeah, we're now actually a bit of a destination place. People actually come to Hamilton because they come to Hamilton. It's not the place on the way to Auckland, or it's not just the place to visit relatives anymore. People actually come here to spend part of their holiday.
Yeah, and don't be surprised, Lance, we're a cool city. Absolutely. The one that you're alluding to before regarding the water is what our growth challenge number 2 is growth.
Yeah. And
managing growth is a significant item for us. That's the area I probably spend most of my time on individually, and that's because we can't stop growth. No. There's no way you can put fences up around the city. We've got a whole lot of land zoned for growth and development, and we're going to grow regardless. Now, if we don't manage growth, what happens is the developers, through the legislation, have an opportunity to develop their own infrastructure. But that might not necessarily be the optimal infrastructure for a city. So we've got to invest in it. So the challenge is, how do we invest in it? Where do we invest in it? What do we invest in? And who pays? And so it's a big challenge. And so the candidates need to put up, well, if they're going to reduce development contributions, that means rates are going to go up. If they're going to reduce rates, who else pays?
Yeah.
So the managing growth aspect is, and I call it an ecosystem. There's an ecosystem for the city, from a council perspective, and as you tweak one part of it, there's a compensating tweak somewhere else. So you can't just say keep the rates down. How are you going to do that? Or you can't just say you're going to put rates up. What are you going to fund with it? You can't reduce the development contributions without it impacting on debt somewhere else. So everything has an offset somewhere, and so the challenge for the community is to challenge the candidates about those offsets, understand the context. And I'm not trying to create or be political here. I just want to really understand what the candidates stand for, and that's all I'm asking the community to do as well, is ask those questions. The third challenging is doing things differently. There's a whole lot of different ways of doing things out there. We've been doing the same thing the same way for a number of years. How do we change the way we get our money in, external funding, we get grants, go to the government, our relationship with government's important. We're doing things differently with the Māori Māori. Do we change the way we do our procurement processes and so forth? So that's a big part of it. We've got being smart, and that's about the extent to which we leverage technology, doing things differently. There's so many different technologies out there. There's the smart city movement. There's all these different ways of doing things, leveraging technology. But when it comes down to it, how can we make the decisions every day that the community has to make have a great impact on their lives? And so that's what we're trying to achieve.
So we've got things like alternative transport systems available now, ride sharing, all these sorts of things happening. Yeah. I remember when live streaming of council meetings was a new thing.
Yeah, I know, and we were the first council to do it, I think, Lance. Yeah, that's right. And the last challenge is involving the community, involving you, and that's basically what I'm saying here is the community wants to be involved. Yeah. And technology makes it easy. Right? How do we embrace different platforms? We're going full circle. We're now doing new neighbourly sessions where we go out to the community. Old public meetings, but with a difference. VR headsets and so forth, getting people engaged with the issues in front of them. So the questions you should be asking your candidates, well, how are you going to engage me going forward? What does my relationship look like? If you're elected, how do I engage and get my views across? And that's what involving you as well. So they're the key issues as I see them in this report.
Yeah, I think that's an important one for people to remember when they're deciding who they're going to vote for is making sure we've got a good balance of people on council, but also that the community is still kept in the loop.
Yeah.
Because it's a weird circle. People are now wanting to know more, be more involved because the technology enables it. Because the technology enables it, people want to be more involved. It's like a circle it's only going to get better, but it does require people to, I think, make use of it and not just sit on the sidelines and go, oh, whatever. I think people need to stand up, make some decisions, get involved, and if there's something that needs changing in their part of the community, make sure they're heard.
Yeah, I think there's more and more people out there like you, Lance, as well, who take some information from council and translate it to something the community can understand.
Yeah.
And there's different versions of you. There's Lance, the techo guy that does what you do, who takes the data and turns it into information for the community to understand. And there's more and more of those people out there that have been conduits. There's leaders in the community that are standing up and taking council information, pushing it out to the community so people get a better understanding of what's going on. And given the nature of technology and given the nature of the way people engage, they'll happen more and more as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that I can do something that would have been impossible in the film days, I can sit here with a tiny little camera and film this,
Yep.
and then people can go and view that online, and it's up to people to spread that around. If I can put it up, but it's up to people to share it with people they know, so that other people can watch it. And it's the same with information I'm doing with the interviews on candidates. When I put those up, if that candidate is saying something sensible to you, share it with other people so that they get to make an honest decision, because I think it's important that we think about who we vote for and think about where we want Hamilton to go. And I think it's much like you probably have to do. I think individuals can do this. Go, what do I want Hamilton to look like in 30 years' time?
Yep.
Absolutely. And then work backwards from there.
Yeah, it's spot on. And I think that's a big challenge for the elected members. And all I'm asking for the candidates, before they become elected members, to be able to express that vision.
Yeah.
One of the things we're trying to do differently, Lance, is we did the candidate bus tours before the closed nominations. That was a way of trying to get people who wanted to be a candidate, didn't necessarily know what we're about, to get on the bus and learn. That's a bit different. The pre-election report is probably the most direct pre-election report in the country, so that was a bit different. We're also going to have a mayoral debate. We're going to host a mayoral debate. And
isn't the council's going to host one?
We're going to host one.
Okay, because there's all sorts of debates going to be happening over the next couple of months by different groups.
Something we're doing a little bit differently to encourage the community to get engaged, but also encourage the candidates to get engaged with the community, is we're going to run a mayoral debate, but with a bit of a difference. So it's on the 11th of September, and it's going to be wrapped around one of our Your Neighbourly sessions, which is like our reimagined public meeting where we showcase some of the cool things we're doing and other partners are doing in the community, which is really exciting. It's going to be held at Claudelands. Out to one side, one of the halls at Claudelands is going to be set up as a candidate cafe. So every single candidate can set up a stall, put up their flyers, and be present to discuss with the community when they come in their views. And at 6:30 that night, we're going to have a mayoral debate hosted by Mike McRoberts of the News. Yep. We've chosen him because he's independent. He's very good from a political understanding point of view, and all mayoral candidates are invited to that. So there's no pre-selection process like other debates. It's going to be all candidates, and it's going to be pretty much premised around some of the big challenges that we're talking about in this report. And it's an opportunity, like you're trying to do, to standardise the questions, but to be able to get the community to compare and contrast their responses. So we're looking forward to that. A bit different. We're allowed to do it legislatively. We've got the budget for it. This council that's currently in put aside a budget for the elections to encourage the voter turnout. So this is one of my big attempts, and the staff's big attempt, to drive bigger voter turnout. So all of your followers and people that this gets forwarded onto, 11th of September at Claudelands. Watch this space. There's a media release coming out very soon. If not, when this gets broadcast, might already be out. And so I encourage you to come along. And Lance, you're more than welcome to show up.
Cool. So I've got the scoop. This is going to be heaven for me because Claudelands is just round the corner from where I live. It's literally 5 minutes walk from my place.
Well, you can do a video blog of yourself walking down there.
I'll probably end up spending, from when it starts to when it finishes, the whole time there, just having all those politicians in one place at one point. That's going to be like heaven for me.
Yeah. So, and I think it's important. And please, Lance, just tell as many people as you can to come along to it, because This is about open, transparent democracy, and I was trying to encourage these great candidates, and it takes a lot of strength to put your name forward for these things and to encourage them and give them a platform where everyone's there. There's a number of debates out there, a number of platforms out there that are for a particular demographic of candidate or voting system. This is not looking at that. This is looking for what is the community response through an entire selection of community candidates. So that's great.
That's good, because I think over the years people have felt less involved. There's a certain chunk of community that have felt less involved. They felt that their vote doesn't count, this sort of thing. And I think that they've also felt less informed. They see it as just advertising stuff, and we've got so jaded with the concept of advertising now that basically as soon as a company advertises something, we automatically go, whatever. Whereas this, to me, sounds like it's the sort of thing that takes away the hype and the advertising aspect and just gives you the information on a level playing field where you can go along, be informed, and then make a decision and vote, and make your vote count.
Yeah, so we're not getting sponsored. We have got the budget for this, which is great, which is cool. Also, we're setting it up, but we're not going to run it. And that's why we've got Mr. McRoberts running it. Okay. So he's independent of council. No one can accuse me. I'm not even in town that week, unfortunately. I'm out of town on that day. But so that no one can accuse us of trying to be political. We're not being political. We're getting... it's there for the community. It's providing a platform for the community to get engaged. So we've set it up the best we can to be independent. There will be other debates, and I know they're going to be great. I've got a good friend of mine, Chris Simpson. He's at the chamber. He's really engaged in these elections, and he wants to make sure that we get the best outcome from a democratic point of view. And I'm sure he'll be doing something as well. Yeah,
I think they always do that.
They do. So, and there's other parts. The university's running a few things. Seed, a whole lot of other community groups. And I'm sure like the various Rotary clubs and so forth. They do a whole lot of stuff.
Media's doing one tomorrow night.
Yeah, which is great. And so the more we can get out there, different events for different people, different venues. Our one's agnostic. Is come along. We're not going to isolate anyone out. Yeah. Everyone's invited. If you're a candidate, you've got a stall. If you're a mayoral candidate, you get to debate. You also get a stall as well. And then there's all the council stuff that's going on. So it gives people context. Yeah. So they come along, see what's going on at council, prime them with some questions. They can go and then ask the candidates. And then they'll have Mr. McRoberts, who's well researched, who's going to ask some questions and get some debate going for a couple of hours, or an hour and a half, I think, in the mayoral debate format. So it's cool. Really excited.
And I think it would be good for people to go along and actually ask the candidates questions. Don't be afraid to walk up to them and ask them questions that are on your mind. They bring, as you said, brave enough to actually run for council, run for mayor. So they should have enough backbone to be able to answer any question that you ask them, and it doesn't matter what it's to do with relating to Hamilton, the future of Hamilton, where their view on something, whatever, ask them. Because with the candidates, I think a lot of people tend to be sometimes a bit uncertain about asking them questions. Is this polite? That sort of thing. I say just bowl up, ask them a question that's on your mind, be done with it.
Yeah. So when they're as soon as they become elected, they become almost public property.
Yeah.
So they need to be prepared to take questions before they're elected to prove they can manage that expectation once they become elected. Because you're right, and even myself as the chief executive, I get members of the public coming and talking to me. It's part of the job.
Yeah.
You're right. And like yourself, we first met when you introduced yourself in town, Lance. Yeah. So same thing. Come up and talk to me. We're all human, but more so for the elected member. They're elected by the community. They're the community's voice, and they've got to know what's going on in the community. So definitely come along to the candidate evening. If you see a candidate in the street, go talk to them. Yeah. Learn as much as you can, but use that information powerfully. Talk to your friends, your colleagues, and your family about it, and then get everyone you know to vote. Because once you get that information out there, and once you drive it, vote is the outcome of this stuff at this stage.
And that our whole system of democracy is based on the concept that if everyone votes, then the outcome is a better representation of the community as a whole. Yep. My father's words were always, if 100% of the population vote, even if the outcome is not what you want, you can be confident it is a representation of what the majority of the community want at that point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's good. So it's been great talking to you, Lance, and I like the idea of another angle with another portion of the community, your followers actually getting inspired to vote. And if you can help me get above the 40%, which is my goal. We're currently in the low 30s. I want to get above 40. That'll be gold for me. It doesn't sound like big numbers, but it's just a greater step forward.
Yeah.
I'll buy you a coffee. If you can help me achieve that, I'll buy you a coffee. Here you go, everyone. You've seen me there.
He's promised me a coffee if we get over 40% voters. So get out there and vote so I can get a free coffee.
Yeah, there you go, mate. So thank you.
Cool.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks
Cheers.
very much for your
Thanks,
time.
Lance. That's awesome. I enjoy that.
Cool.